Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most spine-chilling horror movies that deserve more attention. Brace yourselves for jump scares and spoilers ahead.
What happened to your eyes?
Where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
Number 30, Late Night with the Devil.
Welcome back, everyone. Without further ado, Dr. June Ross Mitchell will commence the demonstration. And might I say, to you both, Godspeed.
If you're a horror aficionado looking for something to truly surprise you, check this one out. Late Night with the Devil is a found footage style film that follows talk show host Jack Delroy through an unhinged Halloween episode of his Night Owls program. The show has been struggling with ratings, and Delroy will do whatever it takes to boost it, even if that means exploiting a possessed young woman on live TV. The audience watches on as a terrifying conjuring leads to an even more devilish reckoning, all in the name of showbiz. David Dastmalchian is a master of his craft as Jack, getting under viewers' skin and leaving them sleepless. This film will have a grip on you longer than you'd expect it to.
Turn it off! Turn it off! Turn it off! Stop!
Number 29, House. Who said horror has to be serious in order to be great? Director Nobuhiko Obayashi takes the absurd route for his cult classic film, House, which sees a group of young women haunted by a murderous home. Most of the brainstorming for it was done by the director's young daughter, which explains a lot about how outrageous the story gets. However, it's not just pure campy fun, but artfully surreal, almost like you've been pulled into a nightmare without rhyme or reason. That said, it does justice to the horror genre with some pretty gory turns of events too. Even if you just watch this for the giggles, you'll never forget it. Besides, it's Bill Hader approved.
I saw this at the IFC theater the day I did an SNL episode, and then the next day I went to IFC theater at midnight and watched this movie. This is how much I like that movie.
Number 28, Overlord.
My head hurts. Chase, Jesus Christ.
If alternate history is your jam, you can't miss this movie. It portrays a version of World War II where Operation Overlord spirals into a zombie apocalypse. It has the high-stakes drama of a war story and the familiar thrill of fighting the undead. Science fiction has its moments in the film too, by the way of human experiments conducted by the Nazis. All these converge to create a classic good versus evil narrative powered by adrenaline, grit, and some fantastic cinematography. The visuals are threatening enough to haunt your dreams, but the acting will leave you floored.
The tower! Private voice!
Number 27, St. Maud. A24 does not play when it comes to horror. St. Maud dives into the dark side of religion, painting a bleak portrait of a nurse, Maud, whose holier-than-thou attitude takes a literal dimension.
Mae'r awr yn nesau. Yn fuan fy fyddin ymuno ar coflediad mawr.
Convinced she has a divine mission to save the soul of her patient, Amanda, a non-believer, she makes desperate attempts to redeem her. Her efforts are mocked, earning her the patronizing nickname Saint. With her faith challenged, her loneliness triggers a descent into madness that ends with blood on her hands. She's too far gone to recognize the ungodliness of her actions, mistaking delusion for devotion. By the time the film's done with you, you'll be unable to move, staring at the screen in terror. Fun, right?
Gogonian ti ddew.
Number 26, Under the Shadow. What could be scarier than political oppression and the patriarchy? Well, this film has both and then some. Under the Shadow is an Iranian supernatural horror film that throws us into the turmoil of war-struck Tehran in the 80s. Mother and daughter, Shida and Dorsa, are left to fend for themselves, not only amid the tangible atrocities of war, but also the torment of the malevolent jinn it brought along. This folkloric being is dread incarnate, causing Shida to lose her grip on reality as she struggles to protect her little girl. Barbuk Anvari is masterful in his direction here, capturing an endless sense of suffocation on film. No matter your age, this movie will have you checking under your bed. Number 25, The Innocence.
Look at that. What, miss? I was afraid for them. But what if he knows? What if Miles knows?
Knows what, Miss Giddens, dear?
A 60s gothic scream fest in black and white starring none other than Deborah Kerr. Sign us up. The Innocence was ahead of its time and continues to be a blueprint for horror movies to this day. Based on Henry James' famed novella, The Turn of the Screw, it revolves around a governess who suspects a pair of deceased lovers may have possessed the siblings she is taking care of.
Flora?
Yes, Miss Giddens, dear.
Didn't you say last night that Miles was coming home?
Oh, look, it's a lovely spider, and it's eating a butterfly.
Things quickly take a disturbing psychosexual turn in a way that probably wouldn't fly today. But the movie steers clear of gratuitousness. The Innocence is proof that simple is best, because even without flashy effects, it creeps up on you and leaves you unnerved.
You don't fool me. I know why you keep on and on. It's because you're afraid. You're afraid you might be mad. So you keep on and on, trying to make me admit something that isn't true.
Number 24, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Hadn't expected that.
Tongue has been
severed.
Andre Øvredal's foray into English language cinema checks all the boxes for a fulfilling horror movie. Mysterious deaths, necromancy, witches, you name it. It all starts with Coroner Tommy Tilden, played by Brian Cox, who is training his son Austin in his line of work. The duo comes across an unidentified cadaver and must now perform an autopsy. As they peel back the layers of Jane Doe's body, a chilling mystery unfolds, tracing back to the Salem witch trials. The cruelty of the past and its lasting consequences in the present speak to the generational trauma women have had to bear, giving the film a deeper dimension. It is food for thought that leaves you nauseous. Number 23, The Haunting.
Right now, and I will yell, I will yell, I will yell. Stop it!
When it comes to psychological horror, few titles can outdo this one. With source material as potent as Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, we wouldn't expect anything less. The tension in Robert Wise's adaptation, both cerebral and visceral, is dialed to 10. It sets the viewer's imagination running, holding off on the stereotypical horror payoff. Instead, we join our tortured protagonist, Eleanor Vance, as her mental state collapses under the pressure of a house that feels dangerously alive and lifeless at the same time. Add to that the undercurrent of her loneliness and complex relationship with fellow housemate Theodora, and you have a layered masterpiece that's hard to forget. Number 22, Kronos.
Un dios. Cuánto bien me haces.
This Mexican movie was what ushered in the reign of Guillermo del Toro as the master of dark fantasy. Despite it being his debut feature film, del Toro's vision is grounded and self-assured. proving that he was always destined to be in a league of his own. Kronos is tragic horror at its best. It weaves a heartbreaking tale of an antiques trader who unwittingly becomes a victim of immortality after coming across a mysterious device. Rather than enjoying his rejuvenated physicality, he grapples with his deteriorating moral compass. Here, vampirism is not presented through a romanticised lens, but instead as the inhumane curse it is. Although this trope is now considered overdone, Kronos continues to stand out as a seminal work.
Tú pierdes más que yo. Lo mío es nada más dolor. Well, get ready for some more.
Number 21, Raw.
Il a aucune chance.
Do you like your horror unflinching with a side of guts? Julia Ducournau serves it up perfectly in Raw. The story follows Justine, who has just started studying veterinary medicine following in her sister's footsteps. This new chapter in her life is soon corrupted by cruel hazing rituals that force her to go against her lifelong vegetarianism by consuming uncooked meat. With that disturbing new taste on her tongue, Justine finds herself craving something more. Something human. Thus, it begins her downward spiral as she comes to terms with her hunger, unveiling dark secrets about her true identity. The film boasts a primal sensuality and intelligent storytelling that draws us in before we know it. You will be disgusted, but it'll be worth it.
Mais je suis sûr que toi tu trouveras une solution, ma puce.
Number 20, Possessor. True to its title, this story revolves around an assassin named Tasha Voss, who possesses people. After controlling their bodies to kill her targets, Voss forces them to take their own lives to return to her own. However, her latest host refuses to comply, trapping Voss in his body as their lives collide.
See if she can fight her way back and finish the job.
There's already a degree of permanent damage. The longer she stays in, the greater the risk to her brain.
Possessor would have been a great action film, but it chooses to convey the horrors of losing control instead. Whether it's Voss's point of view or her host's, there's always a sense of terror brewing in each scene. By its conclusion, this psychological thriller will have you feeling paranoid about everything around you.
Where's your lovely girl? Can you remember? That wasn't me.
Number 19, Mandy. It wouldn't be a Nick Cage film if his character didn't go off the rails. If that's your thing, then watching his Mandy character, Red Miller, go absolutely nuts will be a welcome sight. After a demonic cult sacrifices his girlfriend, Red goes on a roaring rampage of revenge.
Tell me, man. They lit her on fire! They were weirdo, hippie types. Whole bunch of them.
Filled with gory visuals and so much blood that you might forget what other colours look like, it's a violent experience from start to finish. Mandy's no-holds-barred content is hard to stomach, and the film knows it. Although the brutality is unrelenting, the antagonists' twisted minds have a scary quality of their own.
She burned brightly, Mandy. Don't you think?
Mandy is loud and proud of its premise, and there's a definite thrill in buckling up for this ride. Number 18, The Voices. This part comedy, part horror is as messed up as it is funny. Ryan Reynolds plays Jerry, a man with schizophrenia whose hallucinations get the best of him. Convinced that his pet dog and cat talk to him, Jerry is motivated to kill.
I'm evil. No, you're not. I've killed things on purpose, Jerry. There's no shame in it. It's instinct. The only time I felt truly alive is when I'm killing.
Weirdly enough, you can't help but feel bad for the character, as his list of crimes is a result of severe loneliness and bad luck. Added to the horror aspect is the deliberately happy and optimistic tone of the movie.
Are my pets gonna be okay?
You betcha.
Sing a happy song, sing a happy song. Why don't you sing along, sing a happy song?
The filmmakers seem to want you to feel uncomfortable, as Jerry's fragile state of mind threatens to wreak havoc. Number 17, Green Room.
And don't test me.
You're making it worse.
We sit and we wait.
And we die?
Not if you sit and you wait.
Getting trapped anywhere is awful, but what if you're trapped with a gang of murderous neo-Nazis out to get you? Green Room follows the harrowing experience of a rock band in this situation. After witnessing a murder, the main characters have to figure out a way to escape. That's easier said than done, since the place is crawling with men with savage intentions.
Okay, stand back.
You got it.
Here we go.
Although there are several action sequences, it largely leans towards a horror setting. Green Room combines a stifling feeling of claustrophobia with a foreboding sense of doom. With a story that moves at a quick pace and racks up a notable kill count, it's a film that never lifts its foot off the gas. Number 16, The Entity. Whoever says that you shouldn't fear the unknown clearly hasn't seen this movie. In The Entity, Carla Moran is terrorized by an invisible being. Haunted by something she can't explain, Carla begins to lose her grip on reality.
Then it is time for you to see a good psychiatrist.
I can't afford it.
Oh, yes, you can. Betty Rivers, I happen to know. She goes over to the walk-in clinic at the university, and payment is whatever you can afford.
I hate the thought of it.
Oh, wow, no,
I'm not
you do.
crazy.
Why this entity latched onto her isn't explained. However, this adds to the film's fear factor, as Carla's relentless torment has an additional layer of mystery. The film leaves us in a constant state of paranoia, just like the protagonist. It's a devastating and painful portrayal of suffering that hits much harder than anticipated.
You want to appear. You want to appear because you're a devil out of hell. And you're afraid. You'll wait till I'm alone, won't you?
Number 15, Dog Soldiers. 1987's Predator remains popular for blending sci-fi with survival horror. Dog Soldiers is in the same vein, but instead of a killer alien, we get a pack of werewolves. A squad of soldiers is in for the fight of their lives when hunted by a group of lichens.
It won't make any difference. They won't die.
Yeah, well, this gives me a better peace of mind, sir.
You want peace of mind? Run for your lives before they tear your legs from under you.
As their numbers dwindle, the possibility of a complete bloodbath looks inevitable. And while it's mainly on the scary side, some moments of dark comedy diversify Dog Soldiers' appeal. The movie is also effective at making us care enough for the characters to root for them.
When I found you out there tonight, I truly believed you were the best chance I had of getting out. But now we have no chance.
Of course, being the gore fest it is, we recommend you don't get too attached. Number 14, Sinister. Fans have seen Ethan Hawke in romances like Before Sunrise and gritty action thrillers like Training Day, but the actor arguably shows better range as hapless writer Ellison Oswalt.
And Daddy,
Yes.
are you gonna write a really good book this time so we can go home?
I'm gonna write the best book that anyone's ever read.
The character lands himself way over his head, getting on the wrong side of a terrifying pagan god called Bughuul. Sinister is a wonderful throwback to classic haunted house horror films, complete with a creepy backstory that unravels over time. Much like Ellison, we watch with bated breath as Bughuul's plans come to light.
A deity? What kind of deity?
A very obscure one, dating back to Babylonian times, named Bughuul.
The movie contains both subtle imagery and shots that will have you shrieking, as certain scenes dole out jump scares like there's no tomorrow. Sinister isn't revolutionary, but it gives horror fans exactly what they want with heart-thumping effect. Number 13, The Exorcist 3. For a franchise's third entry, few films get as original as this. The first Exorcist remains a staple of the genre, so it was always difficult to follow in its footsteps. Here, Lieutenant Kinderman investigates a series of murders that connect to the Gemini killer. What's the catch? Said killer is supposed to be dead.
The Gemini is dead.
No, I am not! I'm alive! I go on! I breathe! Look at me! Look at me!
The film blends the original's paranormal outline with elements from the whodunit genre, as the characters face off against an otherworldly villain. Along with the mystery, the use of freaky visuals and consistent scares make it a well-rounded experience.
I believe in murder. I believe in pain. I believe in cruelty and infidelity.
The Exorcist 3 dares to be different, crafting a unique identity that still acknowledges its legacy. Number 12, The People Under the Stairs. Contemporary viewers are aware of films like Don't Breathe that deal with the consequences of ill-considered break-ins. However, The People Under the Stairs delivered this premise decades earlier. When a boy and two burglars trespass into a house, they're trapped with people who have resorted to feasting on humans. Leaving isn't an option when there's no place to run. On the face of it, this film might seem a bit out there.
Further into the house. It's the only way here. Papa's too big to follow and he's afraid of what's in there. I don't want in, I want out. Sometimes in is out.
But when you learn it's directed by Wes Craven, things make more sense. Similar to his other works, Craven injects realism, comedy, and social commentary into a movie that still scares up a storm.
Get off my property!
Just want to finish saying our piece, ma'am.
Not only are you bad landlords, but 10 times worse. You stolen the tooling from our community for your own sick needs.
From unhinged characters to macabre humour, it's a wild trip into the darkest layers of humanity. Number 11, Creep. Found footage films are often associated with blockbusters like Paranormal Activity and The Blair Witch Project. In terms of tapping into its full potential though, few can compete with Creep. Unlike the aforementioned films, this one doesn't have a supernatural spin. Instead, the creep factor comes from how easy it is to imagine yourself in the protagonist's shoes.
Aaron, if I tell you something, would you promise me you would never tell another living soul? I need to get something off of my chest.
We follow videographer Aaron as he records Joseph, a strange man with increasingly erratic behaviour. What begins as a casual arrangement turns into a harrowing ordeal for Aaron, as Joseph gradually reveals his true nature. Despite a cast of only 2 actors, Creep is as riveting as it gets. The film shows just how twisted a person can be, in more ways than one.
I'll always love you. And why you'll always be my favorite. Of them all.
Number 10, Orphan. After dealing with a painful loss, Kate and John adopt a girl named Esther. Sounds like your average feel-good movie, doesn't it? That would be the case if Esther wasn't a deranged killer, and if she were a little girl in the first place.
I think there could be something wrong with Esther.
What? What do you mean? You told us that you never had any trouble with her.
I didn't. But trouble does have a way of finding her.
Orphan works as a slow-burn psychological horror. The character's streak of sadism takes several forms, whether it's killing people with hammers or tormenting her adoptive siblings. The film sprinkles several hints about Esther's identity before the huge reveal, when its climactic moments kick into overdrive.
She only looks like a child. According to our records, Lena Klammer was born in 1976. She's 33 years old.
Its eventual cult success led to a prequel a decade later, where we watch Esther's backstory unfold. Number 9, The Wailing. A 156-minute runtime is ambitious for a horror film, and while The Wailing does make us wait for the payoff, the tension always remains at its peak. In this folk horror, the arrival of an unknown person triggers calamity in a small village.
나도 곧 댕겨오고 나갔고 몸이 막 에려불더만 갑자기 열이 나고 헛것이 보입디다. 배낭박스 뭔 남자 새끼 낯짝이 튀어나오는 뒤에
The resulting panic leads to further problems for its inhabitants, as the shadow of a great evil lurks over them. The chilling cinematography, set design, and consistent thrills are all one of a kind. When it doesn't have you chewing on your fingernails, you'll be contemplating its themes.
그 귀신이 덫에 걸리면 저 집 닭이 3번 울 것이오. 그때까지만 참아.
It didn't reach as large an audience as it deserved, but not many films have received such glowing reviews as The Wailing. Number 8, The Serpent and the Rainbow. Zombie horror is a tried and tested subgenre that usually delivers, but sometimes the best ones can slip under the radar. Here, anthropologist Dennis Allen investigates a drug in Haiti that's turning corpses into zombies.
This drug, this is something totally new. We don't have anything that can put somebody in, then back out of death.
Unlike films like World War Z and 28 Days Later, the path of destruction in The Serpent and the Rainbow is more self-contained. This smaller scale works to its advantage, as we get a better taste of its atmospheric thrills. While audiences are more equipped to handle scary material since its release, the film still has the capacity for shock value. Some scenes might not be for the faint-hearted, so be prepared before you check out this little-known gem.
Hold on a second.
to leave that thing in one piece.
Number 7, Bone Tomahawk. Speaking of flesh-eating villains, the bad guys here are still alive when they do it. Starring Kurt Russell as Sheriff Franklin Hunt, Bone Tomahawk is a Western horror. Hunt leads a rescue mission against cave dwellers with a taste for human flesh.
Well, what are they?
Troglodytes.
What do they look like?
The film does take its time getting to its action-packed premise, but viewers won't feel any traces of boredom though, as Hunt's journey has a palpable sense of suspense. By the time it really gets kicking, the movie morphs into a survival horror that will have you at the edge of your seat.
We'll make sure all this has value.
Please do. I shall kill as many as I can.
Bone Tomahawk didn't make a dent at the box office, but many have since come to appreciate it as an undiscovered classic. Number 6, Drag Me to Hell. When you think of Sam Raimi, you probably think of the Evil Dead series, or the Spider-Man trilogy. Nestled within his filmography is this supernatural horror that ranks among the director's best. Lone Officer Christine is cursed by a disgruntled woman, setting her on a path to damnation.
Soon it will be you who comes begging to me.
With limited time in hand, Christine tries to figure out a way to save her soul. Drag Me to Hell cuts a bleak outlook for the main character, although there are entertaining moments of dark comedy. In classic Sam Raimi fashion, grotesque visuals and ghastly faces are featured in abundance. It's an all-round weird, trippy journey about Christine's descent into the deepest pits of torture, and it doesn't skimp on the entertainment value.
I think you might have my standing Liberty order, because the envelope's kind of look the same. Chris, what's wrong?
Oh my god! Number 5, The Invitation. There are more dinner party horror movies than you probably realise. While films like Ready or Not and You're Next are lauded, The Invitation deserves to be mentioned in the same breath. Initially starting off as a drama, it quickly switches tone to more sinister avenues.
And then all of a sudden, we get invited to this lavish dinner. You're all smiles, spewing out all this jargon with these two in tow. Don't tell me that this is normal.
A party seemingly about sharing grief is revealed to be a setup for murder. Having been brainwashed by the twisted philosophy of a cult, the hosts plan to eliminate their guests. Even before this revelation comes to light, the film lands its scares through heightened tension that inches towards the surface.
We'll have to finish it. This is wrong. We were chosen, remember?
It tackles its material with a deeply unsettling touch that will have you reconsidering your own dinner plans in the future. Number 4, Hush. Mike Flanagan has helmed popular features like Dr. Sleep and The Haunting series. Before they reached big-time success, Flanagan achieved critical acclaim with 2016's Hush. Taking place over a single night, protagonist Mandy is stalked by a masked killer.
I can get you anytime I want. But I'm not going to. Not until it's time.
Preying on Maddie's deafness, the villain hunts her for his demented pleasure. Hush's creative direction enables us to perceive its events through Maddie's point of view. The distinct atmosphere it creates connects us to both Maddie's struggles and her eventual decision to fight back.
There's only one ending he won't expect. He can't run, hide, or wait. What does that leave?
In many ways thrilling and other ways empowering, Hush is a gripping tale of survival against impossible odds. Number 3, In the Mouth of Madness. Insurance investigator John Trent begins to doubt his own existence after a series of bizarre incidents. At the centre of it all is a horror novel called In the Mouth of Madness, which alludes to the destruction of the world.
When people begin to lose their ability to know the difference between fantasy and reality, the old ones can begin their journey back.
The premise is hard to believe, but that's exactly the point. With an unreliable narrator and framing device, everything that happens on screen is a giant question mark. Surreal and terrifying in equal measures, In the Mouth of Madness plays with the audience's perception to leave us as hysterical as Trent is by the end of its run.
This is not reality, not reality, not reality.
This is reality.
Number 2, Train to Busan. There are more zombie apocalypse movies than we can probably count, but how many take place on a speeding train? At the onset of the outbreak, we meet several characters with various backstories.
신경 쓰지 마. 그냥 각자 알아서 하는 거야.
아빠는 자기밖에 몰라. 그러니까 엄마도 떠난 거잖아요.
By the end, we've grown to care for all of them, even though we know most probably won't make it. Thanks to these well-rounded characterizations, Train to Busan gets audiences invested in its journey. The real-time setting adds a degree of urgency. While not as action-based as certain other zombie features, it does go full throttle in places, with fast-paced sequences, multi-dimensional characters, and pure brutality. It turns the genre's best elements into a winning formula of high-energy entertainment.
아줌마 앞에 끝까지 꼭 붙어 있어야 돼. 알았지? 부산은 안전할 테니까.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Trickor Treat. Sometimes horror movies should just be about scaring people. Trickor Treat understands the assignment, using an anthology format that pays tribute to Halloween.
Putting on costumes, handing out treats. They were started to protect us, but nowadays, no one really cares.
A demonic entity named Sam connects multiple stories taking place on the night in question. Each deals with urban myths around the festivities, including werewolves, ghosts, and murderers. Without a worldwide premiere, the film went mostly unnoticed upon release. However, it's become a favourite for fans who have discovered it since.
Trickor Treat.
So, if you're in the mood for a delightfully spooky film that hits all the right notes, look no further than Sam and his trusty lollipop. And remember to keep the spirit of Halloween alive, if you don't want Sam to come knocking. Which horror movie is your guilty pleasure? Tell us in the comments down below.
Come and get it, you undead sack of shit.